Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Impactful Introvert podcast. Today, I am continuing the conversation that I sort of started last week about your offers. In last week's episode, I gave a lot of examples on what your offer and positioning should look like so that you can get out of the exercise mode or the marketing language mode and actually look at the services that you provide and create an offer using that. Today, this week again, I for some reason, I was listening to somebody's content, and this thought came to me, and I want to continue the conversation about offers. So let's just get into it now. When you think about offers, you are looking at what can you provide. Okay, and your perception is your perspective is very much about what can I provide through my skills and through my time, expertise, qualifications, etc. And yes, that's a great place to start. But when it comes to marketing, that is not the only place you should look at. So, when you think about your offer, when you think about your offers in your business, do not confuse this to be the way behind the scenes works. When marketing and you're talking about your offer, that is when you have to think about what do you make possible for your ideal client. And that is the whole thing this entire episode is about. Now, if you just want to think about it by yourself, then by all means you can stop listening right now, but I want you to continue to listen because I have things to share. And I'm hoping that when I share all of the thoughts that are coming up for me, it's going to help you figure out how to talk about your offer, how to even position your offer in a way that creates demand in your ideal clients. So, let's go back to when I started my business as a developer. I am a software engineer by qualification. Before I started all of this, I was working in an MNC in India as a software engineer. I was doing coding, and it easily translated into creating websites, and that is exactly how I started. I created a website for one of my friend's husband who needed a website, who kept putting things off. So I said, okay, fine, I'll just do it. So I learned about domain hosting and everything. I set up something for her so she could give it to her husband, who would then populate it. And that is how I got started in 2017. Not really knowing what I was going to do as a business. I was just talking to her, and she said, do this, and here's $100. Do whatever you want to do with that. So I spent all of the money in trying to get all of the resources, domain hosting, the theme for that, etc. And that is how I was talking about my offer when I started. Of course, I did what every smart person does. I went on Google, looked at other people who were offering website design, development, and everything. And I created packages exactly as that I saw they had. And I even tried, I spent about 4 or 5 months trying to figure out design so I could do the whole thing, that I could design and develop your website. And I really soon realized that design is not something that you just start and you can like continue whenever you feel like. So I dropped design and I decided I'd work with designers, because every time I had a conversation with designers, or I was looking at the business coaches for designers, the conversation was all about how hard WordPress is. So I thought, okay, if WordPress feels so hard for you, which is like perplexing to me because I wasn't having that hard of a time, then I'll provide that. And how did I create my offer? How did I create my packages? It was very simple. If you have a one page website, a brochure kind of a thing, design it and I'll develop it in WordPress for you, and I charge this much. 3 to 5 pages, this is the pricing. For a shopping cart, this is the pricing, so on and so forth. And I felt like the smartest person. Like, I had seen that is what was being done by others who were around, like who were a little ahead of me. And that is where the problem lies. The people who were far ahead of me, who were charging anywhere from low 5 figures to high 5 figures, were doing so with so much ease, not because they had different level of skill set in when it comes to doing the work, but mainly because of the way they were selling and the clients they were selling to. I didn't realize that at that time. So I did what I thought was the right thing to do because everybody in the market was doing. And I feel like you're doing the same thing today because that is what you see others, the so called competitors, do as well. You are creating offers and your packages, and you're also talking about it in your marketing exactly as they are doing because you're seeing that they are able to sign clients by using those words, using that strategy or whatever. And there's nothing wrong in imitation. Honestly, if it is working, congratulations, you have cracked the code. Keep doing it. You don't have to stop just because I'm speaking something. But if it's not been working for you, then this is definitely for you. This episode and the entire podcast is definitely for you. You see, when creating your offer, you need to think about what is the transformation that your services are creating in your clients' life, business, etc. Yes, that's what I talked about last week as well. Yes, you have to think about that. But the place where it is not working in your marketing is because you think that this transformation is what your client needs versus trying to understand what your client really needs and making sure that your offer is the vehicle that helps them get to that need, get to that desire. So, when you don't have the language to talk about that, the value that you bring is not connecting with your ideal client. Let's, instead of just looking at transformation, like good health, a functional website that brings clients, etc., let's look at how your services are going to get them to that. That is what you are bringing to your clients reaching their goal. Now, this doesn't mean that your client doesn't bring anything, and understanding what your clients bring so that together you can reach that goal is what is going to make your entire marketing speak connect so well. So think about what is it that you bring for your, okay, what is it that you bring to the table and what is it that your clients bring to the table so that together you're reaching that one single goal that your client wants. That is the thing that you're going to offer. That is the thing that you're going to speak about in your marketing. Now, as a developer, I changed it from I create a website that you don't have to create, like you don't have to work on WordPress, you don't have to deal with the issues, uh, errors and the blank screens, etc. Instead of like focusing on that, yes, that is a part of what they want, but the bigger desire is to be able to design with more freedom, because as a designer you want to let your creativity loose and let it flow without feeling like, okay, I cannot translate this design into a website, I don't have the skills, so let's just design the things that I know will work easily. Now that would have been such a different thing had I did recognize this and I started selling it. The more I spoke to designers, this is how I was selling, but it took some time. It took actually a lot of time before I even realized that is what I should be speaking about. And the conversions were a lot easier when I started speaking about that. It like the conversions happened through cold emailing, it happened through referrals. So I was converting, I was signing clients, but it it took a lot of trial and error. So I don't want you to experience the same thing, and that is why this episode is coming out for you. And I'll be honest, it's a bit hard to do this on by yourself on your own. So don't beat yourself about it if it takes you time. If it's just easier for someone else to do it. So and that I can say now, because when I switched to coaching, I struggled again with the same thing. I used to think, okay, I help people sign clients through my 6 month program. And then some coach would say, 6 months is a long time. People are afraid to commit. So you should start with 3 months. And I said, okay, fine. Let's have a 3 month package as well. Like, if someone wants a 6 month long thing with me, then uh, let's sell them the 6 month one. If people are hesitant, then I can offer them 3 months. And then I heard someone on somebody's podcast say they sell only month to month, like they sell the first month, and after that the clients generally stay and continue to keep working as long as they want. They don't have a contract, the client can drop anytime. And wow, that sounds like a smart way, but sounded that like that's not a smart way for me. It doesn't work for me for the kind of results that I want to create. It works for that person because the the way her business is set up, she has a course altogether. Like, people can go consume the content. She has a membership or a course or something. But the way that is going to work for her is very different. If someone came and worked with me for just 1 month, they are definitely not going to see the results, that is, signed clients, depending on where they are in their business, like how well their foundations are. Because creating an offer and and to start talking about that offer in your content, in your networking events, etc., itself is going to take 2 to 3 weeks. So if they drop off at that point, then if they were struggling to market already, they are going to struggle again, and it will not come across as us working together to get the client the result that she so desired. So that is the mistake that I was doing when I started off as a business coach as well. I didn't understand what was I bringing for my clients' success. Now I do, and now I know that the 1 month package is not a smart thing for me. It is definitely working really well for that person because of the way her entire business is set up. But for me, as a coach who only provides high touch one on one support, that is not going to work. And then the next step, like once I figured out the 3 month, 6 month, the package details, it was time to start talking. Like, I spent over 6 months just trying to figure out the duration of my coaching program. So let me tell you, I am an overthinker. That is what it looks like when you start overthinking and taking so much more time to um, just figure out the offer. That is where coaching is so supportive. At that time, I didn't have a coach. I was moving countries, so I didn't want to hire someone where I didn't know what I was going to do. So I took my leisure time because I was moving countries. I had a lot of things going on. It was time. It was in 2021. My kids were moving to a completely different country. Lots of new people. All the entire family wanted to meet. I knew it would feel overwhelming to them because we have a huge family and they were seeing my kids after a long time. So I was quite stressed. So the 6 months was not like I was just thinking about my offers and how I'm going to talk about my offer, etc. But I was consuming content and I was spiraling into these thoughts of how should my offer be uh, packaged, etc. After that, it came time to talking, and again, I got stuck. What am I bringing to the table? What am I doing for my clients? Yes, I'm helping them sign clients, okay, but so is a social media manager. That is what they are selling as well. They are saying the same thing, that I'll help you sign clients through your social media channel by creating content for you, by repurposing content for you, and whatnot. And the Pinterest expert says the same thing, the designer says the same thing, the coach says the same thing, the mindset coach says the same thing. So, anybody targeting people who want to sign clients as their target audience is speaking the same thing. And then I spent time spiraling again. I couldn't figure out what I was offering that was so unique. Like, forget about just having other business coaches providing the same support. I was competing. I felt like I was competing with all of these other businesses, other services. The VAs were also helping you sign more clients. So I felt like I was competing with so many people to grab attention for that one thing. I'll help you sign clients. And that was hard. I'll admit it was really, really, really hard to solve that because I was spiraling. And you know what helped the most? It helped to speak to someone who understands. It was it was very hard inside my brain, but as soon as I spoke it to my coaches, I was in a group program with support coaches, etc. As soon as I said, this is what I'm spiraling with, there were questions asked. And it was not like I was given answers. No, I was supported in coming up with my own way of talking about my offer. And that is when it felt easy to talk. See, it's very simple to say that this is what you should do, but if you're an overthinker, overanalyzer, and you don't go out and keep talking to people about your offer, then it is very easy to spiral and really feel paralyzed by all of the thoughts that you have that start creating doubts. And that is where a coach really, really, really can provide support. So, and when I after I spoke to the after I spoke to my coach and started talking about my offer, that is when I realized I'm not helping people just sign clients. Like, yeah, that is the end result, but that is not what I'm trying to do for my people. It is just the outcome that comes. What I help my clients with is to find the shortest path for the shortest path that is tailored to them to sign clients. Like, they could also spend weeks or months trying to set up just the foundation, the offers, the lead magnet, the way they're going to promote that lead magnet, so on and so forth. I could do that like they could do that by themselves and take as much time as they want, but that's not going to be the shortest path to signing their next client. What I help my clients do is to, like, when we sit down, we have a strategy session, we talk about what is their offer, what is their lead magnet, and yes, they are very excited. They get off the call and then they have to put themselves out there. They have to talk about that offer. They have to promote that lead magnet. And that is where they're going to trip up. That is exactly why they hired me. If they could do it, they wouldn't have hired me. That is where they trip up. So when they trip up, the deliverable from my package, that is the unlimited chat support, that is what is going to help them stop spiraling. They have access to me and they're going to message me. Like, if my clients don't message me, like over 3 or 4 days, depending on the relationship that we have already established, depending on my understanding of how the person functions, if they haven't messaged me in 3 or 4 days, and I know that they are, they have a tendency to not reach out, to start being in their own mind, thinking and overthinking, I reach out to that person after 2 or 3 days to see what's going on so that they are not doing this alone. That is why I have high touch support. That is why I created the unlimited chat support, so that you're never left to your own brain's desire to try and solve the problem by itself, by thinking so much, but ultimately not really taking any action, because the action is what is going to help you get in front of new people and present your offer, and whether they say yes or no, understand the data. So I'll be there to respond, to ask you questions, to help you understand why you're not able to do whatever we planned you're going to do. My entire package, the deliverables, are all designed to help my clients succeed. But if I cannot communicate that, whether it's on in my content, whether it's my podcast or my short social media posts or blog posts, whatever, if I cannot communicate this, then I am being lost in a sea of other business coaches and other people who are helping my ideal clients sign clients. Like, it's very easy. The person who is looking to sign clients and struggling with their marketing because they feel like they're doing everything, but they're just not able to communicate the amazing support that they create for their clients. When that person is thinking, they are not necessarily thinking that, okay, this exact service is going to support me. They're just scrolling through their social media feed and coming across so many people who say, I'm going to help you sign clients, and feeling confused. So instead of talking about what I bring to the table to help them succeed, if I just keep telling, I provide high touch one on one coaching, and you get so many calls, and you get so many messaging options, and so many workbooks, etc., it's going to be an easy no to me, and it's going to be an easy yes to someone who is truly supporting in the way that the person thinks they need support. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. What is the emotional shift your offer creates for your ideal clients? And the next thing that I want you to think is, what will your client do differently after working with you? Like, how will their life be changed? And lastly, what foundation do they need to bring so that what you bring to the table can actually work? These three questions leads directly into what kind of clients, your ideal clients, your niche, your ideal client avatar, the niche, etc., without it feeling forced. You start seeing who is actually ready and going to benefit the most by working with you, who is set up to get the results. Okay, if you have been spending time thinking about, like, if your offer feels vague or is for some reason not connecting, whether it's not connecting with you or whether it's not connecting with your audience, ask yourself, what am I really making possible for the right person? And then build your messaging and your content around that, and your confidence to keep talking about it will grow the more you talk about it. And lastly, if if you've been overthinking your offer and it feels like a never ending puzzle, then please, by all means, reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to support you. I'd love to see how I can support you. It could just take me 2 minutes of you talking about your offer and me telling this is perfect, or just make this small tweak, and that's all that you needed. That additional validation, and you could go on marketing and signing clients for that offer. Or you may need more support. Let me help you figure it out. I'm not going to pitch you and somehow hold you hostage until you say yes. That's not my style. That's not how I coach my clients either. It's always going to be your decision, but I'm going to support you in figuring out if you really need my support or if you need some other kind of support, and just figuring that out, that clarity, and then knowing that, yeah, you did really do your best to figure this out. You're going to have an easier time taking the action, whether it is hiring me, hiring some other kind of support, or taking the action. And that is going to move your business forward. And that is exactly what I want for you. So if you need any kind of validation, support, clarity, my Instagram DMs are always open. Please reach out. I'd love to support you. And that is all for this week. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.